Rent's coming. Your car just made a noise that feels expensive. Your friend's story is a shiny new apartment, a weekend trip, a new car interior that still smells like, I'm doing fine, and you feel that I'm not doing enough feeling. So you fix the feeling the easiest way, a small purchase, a just this once, a payment you can split up. Here's the part that should honestly freak you out a little. According to the Federal Reserve's latest economic well-being report, 58% of people who used buy now, pay later said it was the only way they could afford the purchase. Not, it was convenient. Not, I love rewards points. The only way. If you ignore this stuff, your 30s don't magically get calmer. They get more committed, more bills, less room to breathe. But if you buy the right things now, the boring things, you're buying future calm, options, the ability to say no without your entire life collapsing. I'm Joe. I'm not your financial advisor. This is education, and it's me trying to keep you from getting tricked by the monthly payment plus default settings machine. 7 smart things to buy in your 20s if you want wealth later. 2 of them are traps if you buy them the popular way, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Because there are 2 people living on the same paycheck right now, and by 35, their lives don't look remotely the same. Same income, totally different level of stress. We're going to connect those dots before we're done, and keep one idea in your head the whole time. This isn't about being good with money. It's about how much of your money is already spoken for before you even get a vote. All right, picture 2 futures. In future A, payday hits, and it feels like relief for about 12 seconds. Then it's rent, car, phone, subscriptions, food delivery, a couple tiny payments you forgot existed, and suddenly you're back to, cool, so I guess I'm broke again. In future B, payday hits and something quiet happens first. Money moves away from your spending life automatically, before your brain can negotiate with itself. Then your bills get paid, and you still live your life. You just feel steadier, like one annoying expense doesn't rewrite your entire mood. Same paycheck. The difference is commitments versus control. And there's this moment that decides it for a lot of people. Sunday night, you're scrolling. You see someone your age doing adult life better. You don't even hate them. You just feel behind. You're about to tap buy because it's been a long week. And you tell yourself, it's only like 20 bucks. That's your brain protecting relief when you're tired and your willpower's cooked. And the system loves it because one-click checkout and stored cards remove the tiny moment where you could change your mind. So here's the counter move. Delete your save payment method on the one app that gets you the most. Not forever. Just put one speed bump in the road because those only 20 bucks moments stack, and they stack into something bigger than the price tag. They stack into being permanently committed. And here's what I want you to feel right now. If you only change one category, you can feel it within a month. Not because you became a different person, because you removed a few silent drains. Now, let me open a loop I'm going to pay off later. There's a responsible purchase people make that they swear is helping them, and it quietly keeps them broke. It's not what you think. I'll get to it. Also, remember that 2 futures thing? The reason they split is not luck. It's not intelligence, it's a pattern. We'll close that loop near the end. So, let's talk about the actual game. The real game is commitments versus control. A commitment is anything that reaches into your future paychecks automatically. Payments, subscriptions, long contracts, low monthly anything. Control is when you can decide month to month, when you can flex with life, when one bad week doesn't create a domino chain. And the system is built to sell commitments as comfort. You see it everywhere. Recommended plan, protect your purchase add-on, easy monthly payment, start today, cancel anytime. But canceling feels like trying to escape a maze. Student loans, credit cards, auto loans, that stuff is obvious. But there's a sneakier version in your 20s, turning normal life into a bundle of tiny monthly bills. And when you're stressed, you stop asking, is this worth it? And you start asking, can I fit the payment? That question is the villain talking. You're about to pick the recommended option because you want to be done with this decision. And you tell yourself, they wouldn't recommend it if it wasn't the best. That's your brain protecting avoidance. Less thinking, less friction, less stress. And the system loves it because defaults are sticky, and sticky defaults make steady profit. So here's the counter move. Whenever something is recommended, pause and ask, recommended for who? What's the last thing you bought because it was recommended? Comment what it was. Warranty, protection plan, upgrade, whatever. If you can't remember, that's the point. Those add-ons are designed to disappear. Now I'm going to tease another loop. Owning a place can be a great move, and it can also come with a hidden extra bill that nobody brags about. We'll handle that when we get to housing. First, you need the purchase that makes the other purchases easier. The first smart thing to buy is automatic ownership. Not the vibe of ownership, not a flex, real ownership. This is where people roll their eyes because they expect me to say something like, invest aggressively. And you're thinking, Joe, I'm trying to afford groceries. I hear you. Some of you are probably thinking, cool speech, but there is nothing left after rent. That's exactly why this needs to be automatic and small. Because the point isn't the amount at the start. The point is the habit that pays you forever. If you have a job with a workplace retirement plan, that's usually the simplest on-ramp. A lot of plans even enroll people automatically now. Vanguard's report found 59% of the plans they record kept had automatic enrollment at year-end 2023. That's the default machine. But for once, it can work in your favor. If you don't have that, an IRA is the other common route. For 2025, the Roth IRA contribution limit is $7,000. And yes, there are income phase-outs. Roth IRA eligibility starts phasing out at $150,000 for single filers and $236,000 for married filing jointly in 2025. Most people watching this are not hitting those ceilings yet, which is why it's a useful tool early. Now, here's the first twist, and I'm going to say it exactly once. You can start investing later and still be fine, but there's a catch. The years you skip early are the most powerful years you'll ever have. Quick math? Historically, U.S. large company stocks have returned around 10% a year over long stretches, using the long-run Ibbotson-style dataset back to 1926. That's history, not a promise. Markets don't sign contracts. But if the future rhymes with the past, starting earlier is ridiculous. At about that long-run rate, investing $200 a month for 40 years comes out to roughly $1.4 million. Wait 10 years and invest the same $200 a month for 30 years. And it's roughly $490,000. Same monthly amount, a totally different life. That's what time does. And this is the behavior part. The reason people don't start isn't because they're dumb. It's because starting feels like a commitment, and they're already overwhelmed. You're about to tell yourself you'll invest when life calms down, and you tell yourself, I just need to get through this month first. That's your brain protecting scarcity. When things feel tight, you want cash close by. And the system loves it because money that doesn't move has a way of getting spent. And debt products are waiting when you fall short. So here's the counter move. Pick a tiny amount you can stand, something that doesn't scare you, and set a calendar date to raise it later. Not someday, a date. Now, midway twist to number 2. And this one makes people mad in the best way. A retirement account sounds like the safe choice, but there's a catch. The default fund and fees can quietly skim your results for decades. Fees are the stealth tax most people never notice. The Investment Company Institute reported that the asset-weighted average expense ratio for equity index mutual funds was 0.05% in 2023, compared with 0.46% for actively managed equity mutual funds. That difference looks tiny. It's not tiny over time. Quick math. Put $500 a month away for 35 years. If your return is lower by just 0.40% a year because of costs, everything else equal, that can be on the order of a $200,000 gap by the end in a typical compounding scenario, depending on the returns you actually get. Same discipline, same you, different siphon. So the buy here is not just investing. It's buying a setup you can trust, broad, low-cost options, automated contributions, and one quick check a year to make sure you're not in some high-fee default that's quietly eating your future. That's buy number 1. Buy number 2 is transportation, cheap, reliable mobility. And I know, there's always that one comment that goes, Joe, I need a decent car for work. I can't show up in a beater. True. You need reliable, you need safe. You need something that starts every morning. You do not need to turn your commute into a 5 to 7 year contract. Experian reported the average monthly payment was $748 for a new vehicle and $532 for a used vehicle in Q3 2025, and the average loan terms were long, around 69 months for new and 67 months for used, and new cars drop in value fast. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has noted that automobiles purchased new lose almost 40% of their original value over the first 3 years. That's not you being bad with money. That's how the product works. Now, here's the twist. And yeah, it stings. That car payment feels normal because everyone has one, but there's a catch. You're not just paying for the car, you're paying with the investing you can't do. Quick math, at the average new car payment, $748 for about 69 months. You're looking at roughly $52,000 in payments over the life of that loan. Used at $532 for about 67 months is roughly $36,000. That's before you argue about insurance differences, repairs, and all the stuff people conveniently ignore when they talk about the payment. And the sneaky human behavior is this. Monthly numbers feel small compared to total numbers. Your brain treats $748 a month like it's a normal utility bill. It doesn't feel like I'm committing tens of thousands of dollars. You're about to sign because you can already see yourself pulling up and finally feeling like an adult. And you tell yourself, people will take me seriously. That's your brain protecting identity and status, being seen as someone who's doing okay. And the system loves it because long loan terms and add-ons turn that identity itch into steady interest and steady profit. So here's the counter move. Decide your flex in advance. No payment and a growing account balance. I'm serious. Make that the thing you're proud of. Buy number 3 is education that turns into income. Not education as a personality. Not education as procrastination. Education that changes what you can do next week. This is where I need to be careful because courses are a minefield. Some are solid. A lot are just vibes and screenshots. If you're hearing this and thinking, courses feel scammy, how do I know what's legit? Good. That skepticism is healthy. Here's my rule. Only buy learning that is tied to an output with a deadline. Not, I'll learn about marketing. Output. Like, I will build a portfolio piece. I will pass a certification test on this date. I will pitch 5 people by Friday. Something that forces action. Because the trap is real, and I'm going to name it. Buying a course can feel like you're fixing your life, but there's a catch. Sometimes you're just buying the feeling of progress so you can avoid the awkward part, doing the work. That awkward part is the whole point. The first cold email, the first bad draft, the first time you charge money and feel weird about it. You're about to buy another course at 11:38 p.m. because you feel behind. And you tell yourself, this time, I'm serious. This is me investing in myself. That's your brain protecting relief. Action without discomfort feels amazing. And the system loves it because information products can sell hope infinitely, especially with upsells waiting at checkout. So here's the counter move. Before you buy, write the output on paper and the date you'll ship it. If you can't name the output, you're not buying education. You're buying comfort. Now, that's buy number 3. Buy number 4 is a small income engine. Not become a guru. Not work 18 jobs. A small loop that brings money in outside your main paycheck. This is the thing that makes everything else easier. Debt payoff gets faster, investing gets less scary, emergencies stop being a crisis. And here's the twist up front. A side hustle can change everything. But there's a catch. Platforms, fees, and taxes take their cut before you ever feel ahead. Most people think in gross. The world hits you in net. You sell something for $100. A platform takes a fee. Payment processing takes a fee. Then taxes exist. Suddenly your $100 feels like not $100. So you need 2 things. Pricing that accounts for reality and a simple way to track money so April doesn't jump scare you. And I promised I'd come back to the responsible purchase that keeps people broke. Here it is. People decide they're going to start a side thing, and they go shopping. A logo, a fancy website, a premium software subscription, a new laptop, a ring light, a mic, a paid community, a desk setup that looks like productivity. It feels so responsible. It feels like you're building a business. But it's just another way to turn your future into payments. Another way to commit your paycheck before your hustle has even earned $1. The real buy here is boring. One tool you truly need to deliver the service, and maybe one small thing that gets you clients faster. That's it. And then the move is consistency. You're about to switch ideas because week 1 felt slow and a little embarrassing. And you tell yourself, maybe I'm just not built for this. That's your brain protecting identity and discomfort avoidance. New skills make you feel clumsy, and the system loves it because platforms profit when beginners churn, restart, and keep paying fees while they figure it out. So here's the counter move. Commit to one offer for 30 days before you change anything. One offer, 30 days, then adjust. That's buy number 4. Buy number 5 is housing, carefully. Let me say it plainly. Renting is not automatically throwing money away. renting can be the price of flexibility. Flexibility can be a superpower early on. Owning can build wealth. It can also trap you in the wrong place, the wrong payment, the wrong life. Some of you are probably thinking, real estate? Seriously? I'm trying to afford groceries. Fair. And also, there are versions of this that don't require you to be rich. The point isn't buy a dream house. The point is to understand housing as a math problem and an emotion problem at the same time. The emotional moment is the dangerous one. You're tired of rent increases, you're tired of feeling like you're not winning, and you hear, at least my money is going towards something. And yes, sometimes buying can be smart, but here's the twist. Buying a place can build wealth, but there's a catch. A mortgage is just the entry ticket, maintenance, taxes, and surprises are the real monthly bill. Also, there's the upfront hit nobody posts about. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau notes that closing costs typically range from 2% to 5% of the home purchase price. That's on top of your down payment. That's cash leaving your life immediately. Quick math, on a $300,000 place, 2% to 5% is $6,000 to $15,000 in closing costs. Again, before the welcome to homeownership stuff, like repairs you didn't plan for. So, what's the smart buy here? It's rules. Rules you set before you fall in love with a kitchen. Stuff like how much cash you need left after closing, what monthly payment still lets you invest, what happens if you move in 2 years, whether you can rent a room to keep the budget from snapping. And yes, sometimes the best housing move is not buying yet. Sometimes the smartest thing is renting with intention while you build the base. Emergency cash, skills, income, and an investing habit that runs even when you're tired. You're about to treat homeownership like a scoreboard because everyone around you acts like it is. And you tell yourself, if I don't buy now, I'm falling behind. That's your brain protecting social comparison. Nobody wants to feel late to the party, and the system loves it because bigger loans and extra add-ons at closing mean more people getting paid. So here's the counter move. Decide your buy box and numbers before you tour anything. And if the numbers don't work, you walk. No shame, just math. That's buy number 5. Buy number 6 is health and capacity. I'm not turning this into a fitness channel. I'm talking about money, because when you're exhausted, you spend to cope. You spend for convenience. You spend because thinking feels hard, and medical stuff can hit even when you're young and fine. Kaiser Family Foundation reported that 27% of covered workers were enrolled in a high-deductible health plan with a savings option in 2024. That means a lot of people are walking around with real out-of-pocket exposure if something happens. Also, the Federal Reserve reported 63% of adults said they could cover a hypothetical $400 emergency expense using cash, savings, or a card they could pay off right away in 2024, which means a lot of people can't. That's the fragility I'm trying to protect you from. The smart buy here is boring basics that keep you functional: sleep, movement you'll actually do, decent food most of the time, and removing health subscriptions you never use. Because yes, a lot of health spending is just monthly payments wearing a hoodie. You're about to sign up for a plan because you want a fresh start version of yourself, and you tell yourself, this time, I'm changing for real. That's your brain protecting hope, and also trying to dodge guilt. And the system loves it because auto-renew is forever, and cancellation is a scavenger hunt. So here's the counter move. Pick the smallest habit you can repeat, and put a calendar reminder to cancel anything you don't use. Buy capacity, not fantasies. That's buy number 6. Buy number 7 is experiences that expand your network without the debt hangover. I'm not telling you to live like a monk. I'm not telling you to never travel. I actually think experiences can be one of the best uses of money when you do it right. The difference is whether you pay once or you pay for months. And the system is getting very aggressive about turning fun into financing. Credit cards are a big example. The Federal Reserve reported that 46% of credit card users carried a balance at least once in the prior 12 months in 2024. That's almost half of people with cards paying interest at some point. And that interest is nasty. The average commercial bank interest rate on credit card plans was 21.39% in August 2025. That's not a rounding error, that's a money leak. Quick math. Carry a $1,000 balance around at about 21%, and you're paying roughly $215 a year in interest, just for the privilege of not dealing with it now. And it stacks on top of everything else you wanted that money for. Now, the social moment. This is where people get trapped. Group chat lights up. Someone says, "We should do this trip." You feel excited, and then you feel panic, because you want to be the kind of person who says yes. You're about to swipe because you don't want to be the boring friend. And you tell yourself, it's worth it. I'll figure it out later. That's your brain protecting belonging and fear of missing out. And the system loves it because pay later travel and revolving credit turns social pressure into long-term profit. So here's the counter move. Offer two options, the fun plan and the cheaper plan. So saying yes doesn't require debt. And here's the final twist, the one that ties this whole thing back to your future stress level. Travel and experiences are worth it, but there's a catch. If you finance them to avoid feeling left out, you're trading one weekend of belonging for months of stress. That's the trade you're really making. Now let me pay off the two people, same paycheck loop. Person one buys a bunch of commitments. Payments for transportation, payments for adult upgrades, payments for subscriptions they barely notice, payments for a lifestyle that looks good on a screen. Person two buys optionality, automatic ownership, reliable transportation without a long contract, education with a real output, a small income loop, housing choices based on rules, not vibes, health basics that protect their energy, experiences they actually pay for, same paycheck. By 35, person two isn't magically rich. They're just not trapped. They can switch jobs, they can move, they can handle a surprise without spiraling. Their money isn't all pre-spent. And I want to hit one last psychology moment because this is where people blow it. Even after they get it, you get a raise. Finally, you breathe for the first time in months. And then you upgrade something immediately because it feels like permission. You're about to upgrade your lifestyle the same week your pay goes up. And you tell yourself, I earned this. I deserve it. That's your brain protecting identity and reward seeking. You want the raise to feel real right now. And the system loves it because marketing is built to catch raises the moment they happen and turn them into new payments. So here's the counter move. Split every raise once. Half goes to your future automatically, half goes to your life guilt-free. That's how you get nicer things without becoming owned by them. So here's your recap. Quick and clean. Buy automatic ownership early, even if it's small. Buy reliable transportation, not a long contract. Buy education that produces an output with a deadline. Buy a small income loop that makes you less fragile. Buy housing decisions with rules, not pressure. Buy capacity, sleep, basics, and removing fake health payments. Buy experiences you can actually afford without financing your personality. And if you remember nothing else, remember the villain, the monthly payment machine plus default settings. It makes expensive choices feel painless today. Then it invoices your future self for years. So the next time you're staring at your bank app in the dark, remember, you're not bad with money. You're just fighting default settings. Make one move this week that buys you control. And if you want to know why saving your first $1,000 feels harder than the next $10,000, watch this video next.